advisors, I'm super excited to introduce you to Elements in Real Life. This is a series of videos we're putting together to help you better understand how to do financial planning with Elements. Each week, Elements advisors will take real client questions and show you how they use the vital signs to provide real advice. So check it out, and of course, don't forget to like and subscribe.
I'm Becky Walsh. I'm calling in from Oak Maple Finance up in northern Vermont, where it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and the sun has set.
All right, and I'm on the opposite corner of the U.S. down in San Diego. My name's Scott Frank, and I have a little firm called Stone Steps Financial. What are we going to chat about today, Becky?
So, Scott, we've got clients who are at that really fun threshold where their kids have just flown the nest. They've finished college, and the parents, they've had a little bit of a break, and they're now ready to start thinking about retirement. And so it's so exciting for them. They've been hard workers. She's been a public servant. I'm working in nonprofit. He has been in the, he's a consultant. He has variable income. And so they're just asking, can we retire? So
Awesome.
let's look at Elements and see what Elements has to say.
Let's take a look.
So we have here their whole scorecard's pretty much filled out. We've talked about insurance offline with them, but when you look at their scorecard, what would your answer be to that big old question? Can we retire?
Yeah. So, well, if they're, can I ask you, is their burn rate real? Is that like
always ask questions? That burn rate is real. Yep.
Okay. So burn rate, for those who don't know Element scorecards much, means what do they actually spend? So what we're seeing here is with updated data is they have no outstanding debts. Debts and burn rate would usually combine together for annual expenses. So they only spend 35% of the income that they make. Wow, that's great. And if we go,
and I should say, when I say that's real, that is real, although we've already taken into account that's the burn rate after their pensions and Social Security start.
Got it. So that's what they're going to need from investments, essentially is what they're going to, so that's where this number is. Perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, so then this is really saying like, hey, this is what you need from your investment accounts. Which is why savings and debt don't make any sense. And taxes, this is kind of an after-tax number as well then?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so then for liquidity, they have 4.5 years of liquidity. For a qualified term, they have 20 years of qualified. And for real estate, they have 5.6.
Yeah.
So they have is that primary residence?
That is just their primary residence. Yep.
Okay, cool. So essentially they have 25 years of assets that they can pull from. So yeah, they should be really good to go. That'd be like a 4% withdrawal rate for the rest of their lives. They're looking pretty safe.
It is looking pretty safe, and that 30 number is really, I mean, these financial metrics, these standard financial metrics that Elements shows, that 30 number, I'm going to stop sharing here. That 30 number is really the number that clients are saying, what number should I have? Like, yeah. I'd really love to see you around 30. And agreed. For clients who are closer to retirement, once we get to that 30 number, before I say, yeah, let's, go ahead, submit your resignation letter, I say, let's look a little bit deeper. Let's verify this data. Let's make sure that number is really real. That was a great question you asked, Scott. Is that burn rate real? And so let's really verify the data, really clean it up. But with that qualified term of 20, so they've got a lot of assets stashed away for that retirement draw, but they also have the flexibility with a total term, or with a liquid term of 4.5, they have the flexibility to not have to take from those retirement funds immediately as well. So that gives us some option there.
So cool. Yeah, and it's great for them to know that they have the ability to retire. I'd just be interested to know what they actually want retirement to look like, right? Because it sounds like if he's consulting, he might choose to keep consulting some if he really enjoys it. And then it sounds like she's working in a more of a government role, but you said nonprofit. So like, what is she?
Some of each, yeah.
Yeah, like what does she want life to look like? Because like, just because you meet your number and you don't need to work anymore, doesn't necessarily mean I gotta walk away from everything now.
Yeah, so that's a question that she's had a hard time being able to answer because she has been so nose to the grindstone.
Yeah.
Balancing work and family, getting 2 kids through college, having a very intense career. And so she's not had a lot of possibility imagining it or a lot of chance to imagine it. And so that's what we're going to be working on over the next couple of years, because she's not ready to stop now.
Totally.
And he probably won't ever fully stop. He'll probably trickle off until feels done, but she's not ready to stop. She has had a high adrenaline career that is, that's
She
going to be
needs to breathe, it sounds like. She needs time.
She needs time to figure it out. And so what this scorecard tells me, with that liquid term of 4.5, with the total term of 30, is that we might be able to say, yeah, why don't you just take some time rather than saying
100%.
It's time
Go
to
breathe.
retire. Let's say it's time to take some time to
a year
breathe.
Sabbatical, 100%.
Yep.
A mini retirement. Can you bring that out, actually, the scorecard back up? Because I think it's a good point to make for people who don't necessarily use elements all that often. Essentially, the conversation that Becky's having then is, here's what you need. You have 4.5 years of liquidity, right? Which basically, liquidity just means it's in cash and in taxable investment accounts, and they need $63,000 basically to be supported outside of pensions. And so she can choose to retire, turn on her pension, and take the 63K for 4.5 years before she has to worry about anything else. So she can easily take a year sabbatical and do that. But especially if her husband wants to keep working, I bet he makes the 63K and they don't even need to take from portfolios.
Yeah.
And so then that just shifts to the next level above of, okay, now let's turn on a savings rate to be like smart with our investments, or do we not, right? And that's where, depending on their tax bracket, from the advisor perspective, we might look at like, well, maybe we just contribute to Roths a little bit, but let's contribute mostly to taxable. So we keep building up liquidity, because you already have so much illiquid or so much in qualified term, right? And you already have those pensions that are really stable. So maybe we just round out your investment base. I love how quickly we can come up with these ideas just by looking at this scorecard.
I appreciate that so much about the scorecard as well, too, that we've got the answers, the prompts there that say, these are the questions to ask. Once we get clarity on those questions, okay, then we have opportunities. We have our prompts. We have the opportunities of what different possible strategies we can take for that next step, because that's really what we're just here to do, is help clients see them where they are and help them figure out that next step.
Absolutely. And the other thing there too is that, like, if they came into you, Becky, and were like, hey, I think we said we needed 63, but we'd really like to increase our spending for the next 15 years, and we're going to need 120. Well, all of a sudden, like, that's a big eye opener for them, because that's like, well, one of you needs to keep working then, right? Like you can't just tax the portfolio in that way. We have to figure out a different solution for you. But I just love how quickly clients will come in and they'll be like, or you'll see a friend down the street and they'll be like, wow, I heard so-and-so has like 10 million bucks. They're wealthy. And I'm always just like, well, it depends. Like, do they spend $1 million a year? Because if so, they only have 10 years of liquidity. They're not very wealthy. But if they only spend 100 grand a year, they're wealthy, and their grandkids are going to be wealthy.
And it's that relationship between resources and spend rate that is really
100%.
critical, that term row answers. And it's not just what that relationship is, but also, how that relationship is split up between those different types of assets.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
their net worth might be 10 million, but if it's all in the house.
Yeah. If it's all in real estate, you're wealthy in real estate and cash poor, and life's kind of rough.
Yeah.
Well, it's so exciting for your clients, for them to get
I'm excited for them
freedom.
too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Scott. And thanks for asking the good questions.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone.
So what did you think about that? We'd love to hear your thoughts about how we answered that question. Do you think that you would have answered it differently? Comment below and let us know. Now, if you have a scorecard that you want us to dissect, or a client question you want answered using elements but aren't sure how, send us the client's one-page plan to cs@getelements.com, and we hope to catch you next time.